All right, so the next map I want to go over is Shoreline. Shoreline, in my opinion, is the hardest map to get the shooter kills on, and it has nothing to do with the distance piece. You have, plenty of distance between you and the other players usually. The issue I have with Shoreline is you just get very little opportunities to get people at a distance just because people are often so spread out, or they go right for the resort. Okay, so it's hard to get people, obviously, when they're in the resort because there's really no vantage that you can get, not a really good one, into the resort. So you just kind of have to wait for them to either catch them entering the resort or leaving the resort. And outside of that, it's really just random encounterments that you get on Shoreline. So again, that's why I found it the hardest. I found myself getting the fewest opportunities on Shoreline. Just because of that, you don't run into players much on the outskirts. You mainly run into them when you run into the resort. So the biggest thing that you can do, again, is off spawn. It presents you an opportunity. So in this case, if you spawn at the swamp, if you go to the back over here, and this actually is where I got one of my Shooterborn in Heaven kills, you can run up to the right, get up on this hillside, and you'll be able to see clear over to the other hill that's across the swamp. And there's really, I know there's a couple player spawns on that side, so a lot of times you can catch people running up the hill towards resort, and they cross through this area here. So it's definitely something to look for. And like I said, I got one of my kills here, and I think the spawns are going to be your friendliest or your most opportunistic times to get these Shooterborn in Heaven kills, just because, like I said, at that point you kind of know where the players are. You get an idea, so you're likely to catch them. Just a lot of players, like I said, just are sprinting right for the resort, so you can catch them just on that dead sprint. You get a few opportunities to shoot at them there. All right, another spot worth noting is when you're coming up, if you spawned at the swamps like I did, Sanitar's spawn is over to the right here at the cottages. You get some players that camp the outskirts of it here to kill him, so you can see them up in the skirts sometimes. So it's definitely something to scope for and look out for. You might be able to get a nice kill there, because if they're shooting at him, usually they're sitting still with a sniper in like a bush or a rifle in a bush. So if they're not actively pursuing him, again, that's an easy kill. All right, so you're probably going to do a lot of running on Shoreline. My spots are relatively spread out compared to the other maps on this one, just because the map is so stinking huge. But another spot is this hill up to the right here. So again, this is kind of I don't know what you want to call that. I call it the scav station. So you got West Wing right here. It's right in front of West Wing is this like scav area. It's the bus stop. If you're coming up the hill, you go right of the road. There's a hill to the right here, and there's some nice areas to sit up and good vantage points from here. So as you can see the down to the right, again, part of the cottage area. You can see people running from the cottage area. You get this rock front. This right here is a popular area for people to sit for this task. I don't like it just because it's also a high traffic area, in my opinion. I always see players cutting up through here to get to the resort, because this leads you right up to the helicopter and you can cut in from there. So I don't want to be there when they're doing that, but you can snipe down at it from this point. So that's a point to watch for sure. You get a little bit of the power station there. You're not going to get much on it from this point, but you get a snippet of it. This rock front is really the gold mine for you, because you get a lot of players that sit up in that rock front to try to do this task, but they're relatively exposed, so that's I don't recommend going over there just because of often how exposed you are. But if you can watch that, that's definitely, again, people doing Shooterborn in Heaven tasks are going to be easy kills for you. So definitely something to look for. Another spot is if we rotate over, we're going to go to the power station here, or a vantage point on the power station. All right, so this next point here, it's this hill to the right of the power station. So the resort's behind me. Again, we're on the West Wing side. There's a couple bushes up here that you can sit in, decent points to look for. So you get this hill right here is a very popular hill for people to sit on. You stick out like a sore thumb if you're up there, so another point I don't recommend going to. Really, the key to shooterborn in heaven is to honestly avoid the really popular sniping spots and to camp them. Okay, if you can watch those people are going to be sitting still if they go to those points a lot of times trying to get their sniper kills. So if you can catch them there, that's going to be an easy kill for you. This is definitely one of those points that a lot of people like to sit at. I got one of my kills here on Shoreline, so definitely a point to look for. Again, like off to the right here, you get advantage of that whole side. You get down to the right, get a little bit into the trees. You can see a little bit of the hill in the distance over there. It's going to be really hard to get a kill out there, but you can't see it. Another point is at the other end of this hill, and actually this is my favorite spot on this hill, is to sit in the corner bush right here. You can see down to gas station, so if players are trying to hunt scavs down at the gas station, you can see them. You can see a little bit of the pier. You got the woods off to the right. You get this whole center. It's pretty open over there. So you can see that. You can see that same hill we were just looking at that players like to sit on. So again, that spot's going to be pretty good. It is also a fairly popular spot, though. I would say it's not as popular as this area over here. I see players there more than I do on this side. But people know of this area, so keep that in mind when you're up there. Just be wary of players running up on you. But again, a lot of opportunities in that area too. All right, so the next area I want to talk about is going to be, there's a couple quests up here, okay? So you have to keep that in mind when you go up here, but it's the radio tower, the big hill. It has the red globe tower. I don't know what you want to call it, but you'll see it here in a second when I get up over the hill here. Right here, this area, this big mountain top is going to be a great spot for you to get kills. Almost every shot you take on players down this mountain is going to be 100 meters. So it's definitely a nice spot to sit. In particular, I like to come over. So if the power station is over to my right, if you're coming through here, if you go past this little plateau area, you keep going, there's this little gap right here. That's how I identify it. The little gap in the rocks. You just sit down, you come down a little bit so your back is not exposed to the rest of the hillside if people come up on it. But you get amazing vantage points from up here. So you can see this whole wood side. You can cover the coastline area. You get the front, so people will like to sit over here and shoot down at gas station. You can also go right a little bit. You can see it's a little more wooded, so it's hard to see as clearly as we did on the other side, but that's that popular sniping area that players like to go to next to the power station. You get the tank that's down here to the right. That's one of Peacekeeper's tasks, is to mark that tank so you can catch people that are trying to set their markers on the tank. So again, this is a good point as well. This one, you're pretty far out, so keep that in mind when you're taking shots. You're gonna have to compensate for that distance, but a really good spot. The next spot, if you cross over to the other side of this mountain here, there's another spot that you can watch. It's not as good of a vantage point, but there is some opportunity here if you're early spawn and people are running into the resort. You can go up to this side, and just to give you some context, the resort's up here to the left. The power station's off further left, and to the right is Road to Customs over here. So that's what you want to look for. You can catch people that are crossing over this area. Like I said, this is going to be a tougher shot because usually they're moving if they're over there. But it's definitely, there's potential here. So again, another not so bad spot. All right, so this next one is going to be more about if you spawn on this side. If you spawn on the Road to Customs side, you can go over, there's that sniper tower that you can sit at, or not sniper tower, excuse me, radio tower you can sit at, and you can see across. So not a bad area. It's a very popular one, so people are definitely going to be looking for you there. But there's one area in particular, and it's right about where I'm at now, that you can spawn. There's a hill that I like to go to, and you can catch people a lot of times at this hill. So the hill that I'm talking about is this one that I am running up to now. It's got the broken shack at the top. So again, right up this slanted hill, broken shack at the top. If you spawn in this area, you can run right up to this hill. We'll fast forward it here to get to the top. But there's this bush right here, or any of these really, that you can sit in, and you can see the whole entrance side of the east wing of the resort. So if you spawn on this side, you're gonna get so many people that are climbing up these rocks here that are coming across this fence line to hop in to get to the resort. So they're going to be moving, so it's going to be a little bit harder of a shot, but there is so many people that do this, that climb up that rock side. So there definitely is opportunities there. Like I said, you're just going to have to be on your A game there if you're doing this one at this point. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Hopefully this helps you get some of these grueling kills on Shoreline. I know this map can be hard in particular to get the Shooterborn in Heaven kills on. So like I said, hopefully this helps you out. I'm going to include some videos down below of the other maps and my spots on those maps for Shooterborn in Heaven. So if that's interesting to you, you guys want to learn those ones as well, like I said, check out the description. I'll put the links down there. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time.